Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome in to the Pro Football Chase YouTube channel. My name is Isaac David Sines. I am the owner and the operator of the Pro Football Chase Instagram page. So I appreciate you for following, whether it's on Instagram, on Twitter, or on Facebook, as I'm also there. I have the Pro Football Chase podcast to go along with my page as well, and it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and TuneIn Radio. The link is in bio, and I like to post a couple of those a week in mock drafts. I've already posted 3, so feel free to check those out when you have a chance. But I started this YouTube channel during the regular season, and I use it as kind of a fantasy football stardom sit-em, and I took a little bit of a break from the YouTube channel just because there really wasn't enough extensive coverage to put out there. But now, as we know, free agency is kicking off this coming week, so it's going to be a very active market for many top free agents that are going to be hitting that particular market, whether it's in free agency as unrestricted, restricted free agents, and as we know, we have exclusive rights free agents as well. So there's all kinds of excitement. I know Monday is the beginning of the legal tampering period. And then Wednesday at 4 p.m. New York time, that is when free agency officially begins. And that's when the madness starts and we get all of these big breaking news stories. So again, looking forward to it. I want to do kind of a free agency primer YouTube video just to kind of get you an idea of who's out there. And so today's episode, I want to just talk briefly about some of the quarterbacks that are going to be hitting the open market. And the first one is Nick Foles. He's 30 years old. Now this one just seems like it's already done. He will be headed to Jacksonville and plans to sign there. Now the terms of the deal have not been disclosed. And while yes, they say it all the time that contracts cannot be negotiated until the tampering window opens, but it happens all the time, especially at the scouting combine. As an NFL agent always tells me, Justin Van Volpen, who I've had on the show for a couple of times, it's just the way the NFL goes. So Foles to Jacksonville, that is going to be the case, and that explains why the Jaguars had a big roster purge on Friday, cutting players such as Carlos Hyde, who, by the way, is the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Malik Jackson, another defensive tackle, Jeremy Parnell, the offensive tackle, Carson Tinker. So now they have, I think, $30 million in cap space, so they're going to look to accommodate Nick Foles there. Now, how about one quarterback that really hasn't been talked a whole lot about? It's Tyrod Taylor. He's 29 years old. Obviously, he started as the Browns starting quarterback in 2018 before he was supplanted by Baker Mayfield in week 3 when Mayfield entered the game and won and snapped Cleveland's 19-game winless streak. And so Taylor has kind of gone under the radar, but I do think there are teams that will be interested in him. And the one team that I feel makes the most sense for Taylor at this point in time is the Miami Dolphins. You know, they hired Brian Flores, the former Patriots linebackers coach and defensive play caller. So there is some familiarity, especially in the division in the AFC East when Taylor played for the Bills, and Flores knows Taylor pretty well, so keep an eye on that. Miami, who they're going to be in the market for a veteran bridge quarterback this year, that's for sure. Now, there's been reports that they like Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert coming out of the 2020 draft, so they could hold off to find their future face of the franchise until then. Also on the list is Teddy Bridgewater, who's a relatively young quarterback, 26 years old. He's obviously coming back from that serious knee injury. Backed up Drew Brees in New Orleans this past season. Now he has some upside, and he should have a market himself. Now when it comes to teams, we saw Washington already acquire Case Keenum, so you can wipe them off. Jacksonville looks like they're getting Nick Foles, as I just talked about. Miami could be an option. You know that the Giants maybe, although they've been very adamant about their support for Eli Manning and do hold the 6th overall pick, so they could select a quarterback there and put him behind Manning for the first half of the 2019 season. But for Bridgewater, the thing that makes the most sense to me is sign another one-year deal with the New Orleans Saints, continue to back up Drew Brees, sit behind him there for another year, learn the intricacies of the game. You're still young. And then next year you hit the market at 27 years old again. I'm sure there's going to be more teams that will be looking to find a quarterback and then cash in on a 2 or 3 year deal and get your seasons in there as a starter. And so I think that would make the most sense. Again, that's just me speaking. He could have other plans, of course. How about another one? Ryan Fitzpatrick. This guy set Twitter ablaze in the first month of the regular season. Jameis Winston served that suspension, and Fitzpatrick was more than formidable for Tampa Bay, who, mind you, finished as the league's #1 passing offense under Todd Monken, who is the offensive coordinator now for the Browns. But Fitzpatrick, looking at his stats, 7 starts, 2,366 yards, 17 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Now that's been the issue with Fitzpatrick, the 36-year-old gunslinger, and a 66.7 completion percentage. So this guy can come in. He's not going to be a starter, right? But he can be a formidable backup. And some teams to keep an eye on here is, for one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they could just look to re-sign him on a one-year deal, backup Winston. How about the Houston Texans? That could make some sense. Joe Webb is a free agent, the backup there to Watson. I know they have a couple of other names out there. Maybe they go to the draft, but he is familiar with that Houston Texans organization. He could serve as a backup to Watson. I think any team in the NFL wouldn't mind having a guy like Fitzmagic, who's got the beard rocking for him as well. Now, here's another main talking point. Since Keenum has already been dealt to the Redskins, the trade will become official on March 13th. But here's one name to really keep an eye on moving forward. It's Ryan Tannehill, 30 years old. Miami Dolphins have tried to shop him, especially at the scouting combine. Really have been taking initiative to see if any value they can get for him. It doesn't seem like they're going to get anything. They're going to release him barring an unforeseen development. But this guy, he hasn't really been able to stay healthy. Adam Gase, when he took over there in Miami, there was a lot of buzz about, hey, he's going to be able to pull out the max potential of Ryan Tannehill, but unfortunately, knee injuries have not allowed that to happen. He also battled a shoulder injury for much of the 2018 season, which allowed Brock Osweiler to get some playing time in. But looking at his numbers when he was on the field this year in Miami, 11 starts for the Dolphins, 1,979 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 64.2 completion percentage. So this guy, he's been productive when given time to throw. He's not going to be a world beater. He's not going to be a quarterback that is going to get a team's fan base excited because you're getting Ryan Tannehill. But nonetheless, he can at least serve in a limited capacity. And so one team that would have made sense is Jacksonville, but do not count out a team like the New York Giants, who's got Pat Shurmur, who you never know. While they've been saying, yeah, Eli Manning's coming back, they could always sign a guy like Tannehill on a one-year incentive-based contract, have him start. He's younger at the position, draft a quarterback, and then see where it takes you from there. But definitely, I think all indications point towards Ryan Tannehill becoming an unrestricted free agent when the new league year officially kicks off. So it's just a primer. There's some quarterbacks there for you. I'm probably going to be breaking down the running backs and receivers tomorrow. And then Monday, talk about some offensive linemen, talk about the deep defensive free agent class leading up to Wednesday's free agency. And there's going to be a lot of news coming on Monday because teams can start reaching out, negotiation period. So all that fun stuff. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch today's episode. I hope this is something that you can watch on your spare time. If you want some additional information, always feel free to check out my YouTube channel, subscribe, or also keep up with my feed on Instagram. Big things are coming here at Pro Football Chase. I'm looking forward to launching a couple of things in the very near future. So stay tuned. Have a blessed rest of your Saturday.